My Pulteney Grammar Year Sixes, I have a short video to show you to explain the results of your mosquito collecting experiment that you did at school. So you did a great job. Let's have a look at the results. Okay. So you will remember setting the experimental buckets out, and each class had 5 buckets, and each bucket had a different treatment or additive to make it, to see if it was more or less attractive to mosquitoes. And there was also a control bucket which had nothing added, just water. We also added these boards, these wooden boards in, because some mosquitoes like to lay eggs on the boards that stick out of the water. I took the sample collections, which are in these tubes that you all and Miss Cox put in these tubes. I brought these back to the laboratory. This is my lab at the university, and I started to process them in the lab. And so that involved me, taking the larvae out that I could see and preserving them and identifying them. But some larvae were a bit small. They were too young to identify, so I had to grow them up, and I grew them up in a little growth chamber like this. As you can see, this is the 6K control, for instance, and I feed them, and that is cat food, dried cat food, which I'll grind up, and I give them a little bit to eat, and so they can grow. And so they do grow, and eventually they emerge as adult mosquitoes, and are able to put them under the microscope. So these are some shots from the area where I've got the microscope, and I've got a microscope which has got a camera on it, and you can take pictures of what you see. The wooden boards that were in the buckets of mosquitoes, some of them actually had eggs on them. I found them out the back of the labs, and you can see some of these little eggs up here at the top right. And if we magnify them up, you can see these individual mosquito eggs. So this is one particular type of mosquito which likes to lay its eggs on these surfaces. And you can see here the microscope set up. But it's for the larvae that we can use to, or the wrigglers that we can use to make the identification. So we had 2 different species of mosquito, which on the left here is the Culex mosquito, and you can see its siphon and its gills and its mouth parts and its head. And on the right is an Aedes mosquito. These are the ones that lay their eggs on the wooden boards. And so you guys collected a bunch of these from different treatments. And so I have some results tabulated for you by class, 6E, 6K, and 6M. And you can see the numbers of mosquitoes that were in the specimens for the different treatments. So the control had quite a few. The algae treatment had some for 6M at least, and the grass, 2 of the 3 classes which had the grass treatment had the mosquitoes in there. We identified them 2 species, so that were Culex quincafasciatus was one species, and the other was Aedes nodoscriptus. Now, you may have seen some other small flies that had been attracted to the buckets. These turned out to be fungus gnats. These are little flies that like to feed on, you guessed it, fungus, and they belong to the 2-winged flies, the Diptera, and the family Sciaridae. And this is just some pictures showing you the adult mosquitoes that when they grow up from those 2 species, this is what they look like. So these are mosquitoes that were circulating around your school and laying eggs in, and you gave them habitat to lay those eggs in. And essentially you were able to, through your experiment, identify what species of mosquitoes are at the school, the main ones that are there, and also what are the most attractive additives to the buckets to attract them to lay their eggs there. So you guys did a great job. I hope you enjoyed the experiment, and great work.